Hello my fellow investors. In this video I wanted to get into Thor's history since 1980 when they got incorporated until the current date. Now the reason it's so important to understand the company's history is two reasons. The first reason is the more we're knowledgeable about a company and their history, the more we understand the company. And the more we understand the company, the more educated we are if it's a good buy or not, and when is it a good buy. The second reason I see learning the company's history is so important is if the current position of the company is something problematic and we want to try to understand the good and bad and the ups and downs of the current position, the more we're knowledgeable about the company's history, the more we'll be educated to understand, did the company do a right choice or not? What's their current position, what's the risk and what's the benefit? So let's get into it. So Thor Industry started in 1980 when they acquired Airstream. Now Airstream is an old company. It started years and years and years ago, and here we could see over here on August 29th, 1980, Thomson and Orthwin acquired Airstream. So this is the picture of them. And an interesting fact over here is that in 1979, Airstream lost $12 million in 1979. After Thor's first year of operating Airstream, the company earned $1 million, a $13 million turnaround. So you see that these people, they were very smart. They knew how to take a losing business somehow and to turn it into profitable. Now, before I get into the rest of the history of the company, I want to play you a clip of Bob Martin, who's today's CEO of Thor. And I think just by watching this clip, it will be much easier for us to understand all the next data I want to show you.
For me, what really led us to feel that there's a good fit for the two companies, I mean, we do run all of our companies very decentralized, so they're different business units. And one was location down here. It's not an Elkhart. You know, years ago that may have been something that we said, we don't want to go farther from Elkhart, but labor has been very tight in Elkhart. A couple times it slows us up. So it was very attractive. We came down, there's a great workforce here, and there's opportunities for us to grow. And so that was one of the big things that we saw as a benefit coming down here. But then truly just knowing the Tiffin brand, the Tiffin name. And so we saw some great opportunities to help grow the company there. So for us, you know, it's what we do. We buy companies that have strong history, great people, great team members, and we help them achieve their goals.
Well, that sounds good to us, and that's, you know, that's basically what we were looking for in the company too. You know, someone that would let us not change a lot. You know, we've got a lot of owners that we've made some, you know, commitments that we would be around for a while, and this will let us keep that commitment going. You know, I talk to everybody. The big question they ask me since I'm 78 years old: when are you going to retire? I don't know how many times I've answered that. And so we're gonna keep going to the shows. We're gonna keep doing what we've done in the past, and Lord willing, we'll be here for everybody, just like we always have.
And I think that was probably one of the biggest points when we talked through Bob's desire to do that, and that's typically what we want. We want companies that have, you know, strong founders and family members that want to be involved. Other companies that could buy your company could have been a private equity firm or something like that, and they typically come in and change many things, and the company can be something totally different. We try to be the opposite. There are always accounting things that have to change, but other than that, we really just, you know, people think when we buy a company, we'll do an interview. Well, are you going to close plants? What are you going to do? No, we're probably going to, if they want to build more, we'll probably help expand. And so that's how we help everybody. And that's our intent here. And so for me, it's an honor to be sitting at this table with Mr. Bob Tiffin.
I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great for our owners. And we will keep doing exactly what we've been doing in the past, and taking care of customers.
That's you know, that's what you're legendary for. So I don't want to be the one to change that. Yeah. But Thor Industries is the parent company of many companies. They really started the company. Their first acquisition was Airstream, So there's nothing more unique in the industry about a trailer, a motorhome, anything. Airstream is total separate entity. And so starting with Airstream, they had Dutchman, Keystone, Heartland, but they all have their own personality. And Thor Motor Coach is one company.
I'm just so thankful that we're going to be able to carry this on, and my children will be able to carry it on too. See, I'm 78 years old, and I'm not going to live forever, but I want to live long enough to keep working, and I want to keep working. I want everybody to understand that I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be at the plant. My telephone number is not going to change. I'm going to be right there and pick the phone up, talk to anybody who wants to call. So you got it now.
And that was, for us, that was probably the most important key. I will share, we only were interested if Bob was staying. That was the only way we were going to do it. And so I think that's important for everybody to know that it's not our intent to come in and run management off. That's just not what we do.
We've been looking for somebody like this for a long time. You don't know how long.
It is a different model. I mean, other companies look for companies that they integrate. We're decentralized. We're proud of the fact that we're decentralized, and we're proud that our companies many times compete with each other. It just makes them better. And so it creates more innovation. So it's great that that's the way you built the company, and we just want to help do even more.
Sure.
Okay, so now that we understood how Thor operates, let me get into the history. So this is from Thor's website, and we can see over here, they started in 1980, and they went public in 1984. And okay, so the first acquisition was General Coach in 1982, and it's every year, throughout the years, they're just acquiring more and more companies. Over here in 1988, they bought a small bus company, a mid-sized bus company, and so on. So I'm not going to get into all these details about all these different acquisitions, but what I did want to check out is how profitable and how efficient was Thor in acquiring these companies. So basically what I did, it took me a few hours to do this whole research. I went through all the companies' 10Ks throughout the last 20 years, and to look at all the acquisitions, how much they bought it for, and how much were they earning. So I just want to show you what I did, and then I'll just show it in a short version. Okay, so let's over here. They acquired, in 1998, they acquired the Champion bus. And so what I wanted to see was, how much money did they pay for it, and how much money did they generate afterwards in the next year. It will show us how good the management is in three things. So when a company acquires another company, there's basically three things they need to be very good and very efficient at. One, that they're buying the right company, and maybe they're buying just a dumb company, which they think is a good company and it really isn't a good company. And then after we see that they find good companies, they're paying the right price. Maybe they're paying overpriced for this company. And the third thing we want to see, after they bought a company and a good price or high price, how much money are they generating from their acquisition? If a company, let's say, bought another company for $100 million, and the next year they only gained another $5 million after they bought it. So basically, they invested their investment for 5% yield, which isn't very good. I want to see when a company is buying another company, that they're gaining on their buys, on the acquisitions, they're gaining 10, 15, 20, 30%. I mean, 30% may be very much, but at least you want to see how efficient the company is in buying the right companies at the right price and getting the right yield for their investments. So basically, this is what I did. I went through all the acquisitions. In the beginning, they in the 10Ks, they gave up more data, how much of the net income was because of the company they bought last year. And in the later years, they stopped doing it. But in the first years, they did it, and afterwards they stopped for some reason. So I wrote everything down. So in 1980, they bought Airstream. I don't know exactly what price they bought, but from $12 million loss, they went to, in 1979, they went to $1 million profit. So over here, in 1982, they bought General Coach. I don't know for what price. All these companies, I couldn't find what the price they bought it. Over here, Comfort, they bought for $5 million in 1995. Champion Bus, they bought for $9.7 million. And this is what I wanted to see. So they bought Champion Bus in 1998 for $9.7 million. And next year, in their 10Ks, they write that there was an increase of $4.4 million in revenue before taxes due to Champion. So that's almost a 50% yield on their investment in 1 year. They bought a company for $9.7 million, And a year later, they added to revenue before taxes for almost $4.5 million. That's almost 50% yield in 1 year. And then over here again, so they bought Keystone in 2001 for $151 million. In 2002, they increased their income before taxes $44 million in 1 year. So again, that's a 30% yield in 1 year from the acquisition. And over here, Damon, they bought Damon in 2003. I think what I calculated from the company's 10Ks was $42.59 million, but I saw in other places that it was a higher price. I don't know, but what I saw in the company's 10Ks, it was $42.59 million. And okay, so then we see the next year in 2004, they increased the income before taxes for $10.9 million. Again, that's almost a 25% yield. It's more than 25% yield in 1 year on the acquisition. These are great acquisitions. We see the company is buying good companies at the right price, and they're getting a very good deal for their acquisitions. And then over here, Crossroads. They bought Crossroads in 2004 for $28 million. In 2005, the increase in income before taxes was $7.52 million. Again, that's more than 25% yield in 1 year. And okay, so here Goshen was a bus company. They bought for $10 million. And Goshen was it's filed for bankruptcy. And Thor bought them. So this is something that also I wanted to see very much. Thor bought a company that went bankrupt. Were they able to make Goshen profitable? And from their statements, in 2006, Thor lost $892,000 on Goshen, and in 2005 they lost $248. So it's not a whole year because they bought it in the middle of the year, so it's not exactly an entire year. But I tried to look and I didn't see that the company ever turned Goshen into profitable. So maybe they got everything integrated in all the rest of the bus industry. So I don't know. But at least in the first year or two, when the company writes in every 10K how much money they generated from the last acquisition. So in Goshen, I didn't find anything positive. Okay, in 2010, this is a small acquisition. They bought SJC, it's a company that makes ambulances, for $20 million. I didn't see also, the company in the 10Ks, they write how much is the net sales of the company because of the last acquisition, but didn't write the revenue before taxes. Okay, so Heartland was a big acquisition. They bought it for $99.5 million and 4.6 million shares of Thor, which they gave the sellers. And in 2011, a year later, so they increased the income $13.13 million. So that's already less, 13% yield. And the next year, the Thor doesn't write so much how much they generate. These are small acquisitions, 3.9, 6.8, 16.9. KZ was a bigger company. I didn't find any data how much money the net revenue was from all these acquisitions. They only write the increase in net sales. That's the top line. I want to see the bottom line. So I'm leaving out the elephant in the room, which is the Oppenheimer, which they bought in 2019. And this is the big question. Was Thor's acquisition a right judgment? Did they pay the right price? And what is their position going on forward? So that I want to analyze in the next video. Okay, so basically what I wanted to figure out, after I just checked the company's acquisitions and its history to see if they were doing good judgments or not, what I wanted to find out was, why did Thor leave the bus industry? So in 1988, Thor entered the small bus and mid-sized bus industry with the acquisition of Eldorado Bus. So in 1988, that's a long time ago, they went into the bus industry. And for some reason, from 1988, they were doing very good in the bus industry. And in 2013, which is 25 years later, 25 years they were in this business, Thor decided to exit the bus business. And I wanted to know why. Was there a reason why? 25 years in the business, that's a long time. Why did Thor decide to leave this business? So what they write in their 10K, that they wanted to be only in the RV business. They wanted to do all the growth, all the revenue to just grow in the RV. They wanted to exit the bus business. Okay, for me, that's not a real reason. That's just saying, I don't know. It could be 10 reasons why they left it, and they would say that thing. So I don't know why they left the bus business, but I do know one thing. In 2013, Thor hired a new CEO and president, which is Bob Martin. And Bob Martin, he came in from Keystone. He was the president of Keystone, and when they acquired Keystone in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check it out. Thor acquired Keystone in 2001. He was the president of Keystone, and he was basically in the RV business since I think 1998, sorry. And what I would guess is that Bob Martin for some reason didn't want the bus business. I don't know why. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe it's a good thing he felt he wasn't competent and he didn't have confidence to take care to run the bus industry. Or I don't know, maybe something else. But this is an interesting question. But okay, that's history. It's something that happened already 10 years ago almost. It doesn't make so much of a difference. But what we need to take out from this whole history is Thor is a company that its main growth comes from acquiring other companies. And it seems that throughout the years they're doing very good decisions which companies to buy and what price to buy them. And they're generating very good profit very fast out of these companies. So in the next video, one of the things you have to analyze is the current position of the company after they bought Erwin-Heimer. Was it a good acquisition? Did they pay the right price? Did they pay too much of a high price? The company took a lot of debt for this acquisition. So that's what we have to figure out, was a good or bad decision. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this video.